Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. Aloha. I know we got Hawaii in the house here. There we go. It is a privilege to be here with all of you, my brothers and sisters in uniform, especially on this day of all days. I had the privilege of joining President Trump this morning at Arlington Cemetery, where he joined two Gold Star families.
Hey, you notice how she said President Trump?
And loved ones of Staff Sergeant Hoover and Sergeant G, both of whom were two of the 13 killed in the Abbey Gate attack 3 years ago today in Kabul. And I can tell you, as we were there, as he laid a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier, joining these Marines' loved ones, I felt the sorrow that he shared with them in their loss. I felt and saw his sincere appreciation for these servicemen and women who paid the ultimate price and their loved ones who continue to grieve to this day. This is personal for me, as I know it is for so many of you here. This is real. It's not just words. I first deployed to Iraq in 2005 with the Hawaii Army National Guard as a member of Charlie Med.
I didn't know that she was a part of the Hawaii National Guard. I'm learning more and more about her. You know, the main thing that I knew about Tulsi Gabbard was that she was a Democrat and that she had absolutely torched Kamala Harris in a debate that effectively ended her bid for presidency against Joe Biden, right? Which they then had Joe Biden pick her, and then Kamala Harris ultimately pushed Joe Biden out in order to continue her trend towards taking over whatever it is that she wants to take over, just like, you know, most modern women do. But shout out to Tulsi. You know, it takes a lot of courage to actually switch over and do the thing that's in the best interest of the country instead of focusing just on your own ambitions as a Democrat. But let's rock out.
As those of you who were deployed during that time know, it was the height of the war, and sadly, we took many casualties. And every day we were confronted with that high human cost of war and that sadness as we boarded the plane when we left, that we were leaving some of our brothers and sisters behind, only to lose others when we got home to suicide. So I mean what I say when I share with you that I know that President Trump understands the grave responsibility that a president and commander-in-chief bears for every single one of our lives. Whether you're a soldier, you're an airman, a Marine, sailor, or a coastie, he keeps us in his heart in the decisions that he makes. We saw this through his first term in the presidency, when he not only didn't start any new wars, he took action to de-escalate and prevent wars. He exercised the courage that we expect from our commander-in-chief in exhausting all measures of diplomacy, having the courage to meet with adversaries, dictators, allies, and partners alike in the pursuit of peace.
That's one of the things that Trump don't get enough credit for, and I don't understand why, because it would be different if he didn't get credit for it and it was a continuation of peace throughout the world, or as a matter of fact, as far as the amount of proxy wars that we're participating in this country in general. But in a general sense, like, how can he not get the credit when we were not only rocking with peace, but we was running up a bag and we was becoming incredibly successful as a result of him being in office and president? We had no new wars. We were bringing troops home. We also was fostering better relationships with other countries, including North Korea, Russia, all of that, right? And so he doesn't get enough credit for his ability to not only manage what was going on here on American soil, but also making sure that we weren't deploying resources into foreign countries and in proxy wars that we needlessly didn't have to be in. So, you know, I think that that's, he deserves more credit with regard to that, in my opinion.
War is a last resort. The truth is, as we head towards our decision as a country in November, the same cannot be said about Kamala Harris. In fact, the opposite is true, and we're living through this reality today as this administration has us facing multiple wars on multiple fronts and regions around the world, and closer to the brink of nuclear war than we ever have been before. This is one of the main reasons why I'm committed to doing all that I can to send President Trump back to the White House where he can once again serve us as our commander-in-chief.
Yo, honestly, I know that the slogan on the Democratic side is "We not going back, we not going back." What we not going back to? Prosperity, peace throughout the world, profitability, making sure that we're bringing back American jobs and the factories that was being built during the Trump administration, closed off our borders, making sure that we don't have more people over here than we need to or is not being vetted effectively. Lake and Riley, they still haven't said her name. Nobody want to answer any of the questions of how this administration was able to manage through and continue to drive up inflation up to the tune of over 20 something percent. And now they want to say, well, inflation is down right now, but it was up 3.5 years. For the 3.5 years that you was in office, inflation is up. Now layoffs is going on. So I don't know why we don't want to go back to the more peaceful, better times that we was operating inside of this country. This woman is Kamala Harris's worst nightmare.
Because I am confident that his first task will be to do the work to walk us back from the brink of war. We cannot be prosperous unless we are at peace.
Facts.
And we can't live free as long as we have a government that is retaliating against its political opponents and undermining our civil liberties, weaponizing our very institutions against those they deem as a threat.
Election interference.
Kamala Harris has done this over the last 3.5 years. She won't hesitate to continue that if she is elected as president. President Trump has been their first and foremost target in this because they don't want us as voters to even have the option to vote for him. I've been their most recent target, added to a secret domestic terror watch list after exposing the truth about what kind of dangers we would face if Kamala Harris is elected as president.
And that's insane. To put Tulsi Gabbard on a secret watch list, a terror watch list. If y'all don't know that these people are basically manipulating and influencing what's happening in these elections, then I don't know what else to tell you.
We as Americans must stand together to reject this anti-freedom culture of political retaliation and abuse of power. We can't allow our country to be destroyed by politicians who will put their own power ahead of the interests of the American people, our freedom, and our future. I am proud to stand here before you today, whether you're a Democrat, a Republican, or an independent. If you love our country, as I do, if you cherish peace and freedom as we do, I invite you to join me in doing all that we can to save our country and elect President Donald J. Trump and send him back to the White House to do the tough work of saving our country and serving the people.
Shout out to Tulsi Gabbard. It looks like everybody is choosing a side. Everybody is choosing a side and picking a side on what they want to be, regardless if you're Republican or Democrat. I think that the side that people are choosing is the one that is best for our country. And a lot of people are no longer aligned with just party politics. Y'all let me know what y'all think inside of the chat. Also, we're going to be covering this on the Millionaire Morning Show in the morning. I love you guys. I appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all get in that Teach Henley, 40% off your first order plus 20% off of life. Also, on top of that, make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat.